It was a big weekend for Arsenal as well, Lee. You went top of the league. Arteta justified for his Kai Havertz signing. And we have to start there, though. You upset everybody. You upset everybody because you did not. You disgracefully did not celebrate Kai Havertz's goal. And I need to ask you straight away, why didn't you celebrate his goal, Lee? Why didn't you?
Because that goal right there has set this club back 2 years, Terry. And you can laugh all you like. Let me tell you why. I'll give you context as to why. 2 years ago, Eddie Nketiah scored 5 goals that took us from 4th to 5th. He was coming out of contract. His contract was expiring at the end of that season. We finished 5th. Tottenham finished 4th. We were 4th. He scored 5 goals. We finished 5th. He was going for a free. He was leaving the club. This fan base were twerking their bums up and down, real quick ladder at Carnival, right? And he got 100 grand a week and Thierry Henry's number 14 on his back. Fast forward 2 years later to today, this fan base now want him gone. He's not good enough. He's a disgrace. He doesn't pass. He's brain dead. He can't score enough goals. Okay. So why were you twerking for him when he was out of contract then? Because he scored 5 goals. Why? We all knew he weren't good enough back then. This guy is not good enough. Havertz. He's not good enough, mate. Yeah, and that goal, and when we signed him, the video I did the day we signed him, I said he'll be the most protected footballer ever at this football club. More so than Mesut Ozil. Yeah, and when our manager's putting him in a headlock, dragging him over to our away fans in that ground, pointing at him, here he is, he. What's that all about? Yeah, now that gives him a pass for 2 years. And then in 2 years' time, is that what he does with the dog at training? Like, and in 2 years' time, when they all wake up to reality that he ain't the guy, we've wasted another 2 years. So that's why. And I said when we signed him, I ain't celebrating any of his goals. I couldn't care less. If people don't like it, tough. All these people moaning in the comments, oh, we'll get this guy off. Mate, I'm in the thumbnail. Like, honestly, every week, the same idiots in the chat, every week. Yeah, and the funny thing for me, Terry, is, people are banging on about, oh, but just be happy we're top. Just be happy. You don't care about my happiness. Because if you did, you wouldn't troll me every day. Because you ain't genuinely interested in my happiness. It just makes a good story. Let me clip Lee Gunner up and we can get some followers and we can make a big story out of it. Like 2 of your people that come on here. Yeah, one of them blocked me on TikTok after chatting crap that I'm a fake fan whilst he was sat in a Hereford FC shirt saying it, right? Blocks me. He then blocks me on Twitter. And then I go on Twitter the other day and I'm suddenly unblocked. I can see his tweets popping up. And then he's tweeted out the video of me not celebrating a goal. Mate, that's the same guy that Rory talks smack, yeah? That I asked you to get a debate on here with him and he bottled it. Like our manager bottled the title last season. Why didn't he want to debate, but he wants to talk about me online? So you either want to talk or you don't. Yeah, you either want to talk or you don't. Yeah, not easy running a channel, is it, mate? Because I've seen you ain't uploaded since the 25th of October. Not easy, is it, mate? Not the quick money fix you thought it was, isn't it? Yeah, not easy to get views, is it, mate? Yeah, and as for the other one, who I've already destroyed systematically in front of everyone's eyes multiple times on this channel, Egal, yeah, me and him settled it. It was cool. Everything's fine. We've DM'd each other a couple of times since then. No drama. And then all of a sudden, on Saturday night, he's running his gums about me again, using the same clip. Yeah? Well, let me tell you something now. I found 2 clips of him, Terry. 2 clips of him. The guy doesn't even know why we're called Ashburton Army or Ashburton Grove. What's Ashburton? And he's telling me that I'm a fake fan. Learn the history of your football club, mate. Yeah, learn the history of the football club. Yeah, I'm sick to death of it. These people chat the biggest amount of rubbish I've ever heard in my life. They gas up everything. Yeah, they hype up everything. And then when it all falls down, you don't see them all summer. Because every single time Arsenal win a football match, I'm trending. Why aren't you just celebrating the win? Why are you trying to force other people into your pathetic opinions? We're in November. Did they not learn nothing from last November when we were top? And December and January and February and March? Yeah, and then it all crashed down in April and May. Have they not learned anything from that? Then I post a tweet out, what phase is Unai Emery in? Sarcasm, but again, sarcasm's lost on thick people, right? And again, the same person, Egal, quote tweets that as well. What is wrong with these people? Yeah, all the people. Oh yeah, but we're top of the. We're top for what, mate? Man United are 6 points behind us. A couple of losses here and there. We lose to Villa and Liverpool, and they carry on winning. All of a sudden, they're above us. I'll tell you now, they're going to get a harsh reality check this season, mate. Yeah, if one of or all of them, of Ten Hag, Ange Postecoglou, or Unai Emery, finish above this manager, they are finished. They are finished. And listen, I hope we win the league, but I'm not deluded. Yeah, we are not playing well, Terry. Yeah, Kenny Ken was at the game. He goes to every home game and every London away. Kenny Ken's fan cam, and on the podcast last night, go and listen to what he was saying was happening in the crowd. All these top gooners. They were absolutely crucifying Eddie and Ketia. They were crucifying the team. They were crucifying most of the players. They were fuming about Arteta. Why is it taking so long to make subs? They were not happy about anything about that game. But then we nicked a win and all's forgotten. Well, no, that's not how it works, mate. Because that is how we bottled the title last season. Just be happy, we're top. Just be happy. Just be happy for what? It's November, mate. League ends in 6-7 months. Why am I going to knee slide around the floor? Yeah, that we scored a last-minute winner to take us top 1 point against City. We were 8 clear and still didn't win it. Yeah, I've learned my lesson from last season of over-celebrating a goal. Reece Nelson. Yeah, come on, man.
Is that what this is for you? You don't want to get carried away with being top because
it's not just that. No, it's not just that, yeah. I let myself get sucked in last season because I see, do you know what? I'm actually enjoying watching Arsenal for a change. Yeah, we're actually playing really good football last season. We're blitzing teams. Yeah, and then that January transfer window, yeah, because this fan base, yet again en masse, not all of them, but a lot of them en masse, hyped up average players in that squad, yeah, is the reason we signed Jakob Kivior, who can barely get a game. Yeah, and then we decided to use Rob Holding over him after we'd done 24 million on him. We then played Rob Holding over him, by the way, right? And then it's Rob Holding's fault we bottled the league. No, it ain't. Who picked him? Yeah, who picked him over the player he signed for 24 million? Furthermore, we then go and sign Jorginho. The only decent player we signed in that January was Trossard. That was it. And that showed me right there the ambition of this football club. Our CEO on, I think it was the 12th of January last year, or this year, sorry, sat on Sky Sports and sat there barefaced to the camera and said, our ambition this season is top 4. We were 7 points clear at that point. Top 4. This fan base are a massive issue, Terry, and that is why we won't win it again. Because when it comes around to January, yeah, all the stories already coming out. Oh, well, it's either a striker or a midfield. What are you telling me we're skinned? Do me a favour.
Yeah, I understand. So in terms of celebrating, I just want to make sure I've understood you right. I want to get your logic. Because you know me, I think people should celebrate that. However,
people can celebrate. Just don't kick off if I don't. What's it got to do with you?
No, exactly. Like you watched my reaction to it. I thought it was funny that you didn't. But the reason I thought it was funny is because I knew that it would wind people up. But essentially, you're saying you don't want to celebrate it because you believe it's going to, and this is what I've interpreted from what you've said. It's going to make the manager play Kai Havertz more, and you think that's going to take you backwards. So therefore, celebrating that goal is actually detrimental to Arsenal.
Yes and no. Yes, celebrate the goal. If you want to celebrate a goal, do what you want. Yeah, don't kick off on me because I ain't celebrating and make the whole Twitter trend #1 for 3 days all about me. Yeah, that's Arsenal has just won a game. You're all knee sliding around that we've won a game. Good luck to you. Cool. Celebrate how you want. But instead of celebrating it how they want, they dig me out. Cool.
Can I ask you a question?
Let's be real. Arsenal haven't won a League Cup for 31 years. Arsenal haven't won in Europe for 30 years. Arsenal haven't won a league for 20 years. And Arsenal haven't won an FA Cup for soon to be 4 years. But League Gunner's the problem.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question based on what a lot of people have said in my comments I've seen on Twitter. So I'm asking you this from a lot of people think you were angry because you've gone back top and because Kai Havertz scored, and it's almost like a thumb in your eye because you said that Arteta couldn't get you back on top of the league and that Kai Havertz would flop. Are you frustrated that people are accusing you of your opinion being wrong? That's why you were angry.
How can an opinion be wrong? It's an opinion. It's not a fact, is it? It's an opinion. So how can an opinion be wrong? You just don't agree with the opinion. You've got your feelings about it.
Yeah? Okay, well,
an opinion cannot be wrong because it's your opinion.
Well, yes, it can be. If my opinion today is Højlund won't
agree with the opinion.
Yeah, well, no. If my opinion today is I don't think Højlund will score against Galatasaray and he scores 2 goals, my opinion was wrong. But okay, let me change it from opinion then. Like your prediction that like Kai Havertz wouldn't do anything for you. You couldn't get
done for Arsenal. Honestly, real talk. What's he done for Arsenal? He
I
scored
don't think
one goal from open play in 21 games.
Bro, I don't think he's been particularly good for you. I'll agree with that.
In 21 games. Where was this protection for other players that have played at this football club? Yeah, where was this protection for Nicola Pepe? Where was this protection for other players at this football club? Yeah, this false let's like drag the player head. It was like the Bushwhackers. Do you remember them? Yeah, and Arteta's grabbed hold of him in a headlock and wheeling him towards the away fans. Here he is. Here he is. It's like he's the circus act. Here he is. It is so embarrassing, Terry. At the end of the day, it's not that I'm fuming that we're top. I hope we're top in May, but I am not going to be knee sliding and jumping for joy at going top, 1 point clear of City. Yeah, when there's Man United, what, 6th place, only 6 behind. Yeah, so there's 4 teams between us and Man United that are within 6 points. What are we celebrating?
But you're celebrating the win. I don't think it's. I do believe you should celebrate the win. That's my personal belief.
Let me say one more thing as well. Should Arsenal beat Brentford?
Yes. Well, Brentford.
No. Should Arsenal beat Brentford? Yes or no?
Yes.
It's like, how are you even thinking about this?
Because it isn't as basic as that. That's a reductionist answer.
I don't.
Can I respond properly, please?
We should be beating Brentford.
Can I respond properly, please? The reason that I say yes, however, you have to put context to this because
they got 6 players that are injured. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but this team they barely lose at home.
Wow.
They barely lose at home. So yes, you are, in my opinion, you are the marginal favourites when you go there in the league. You are the marginal favourites. Therefore, you could argue you should win. But it's not as though you're playing at home against Luton. They're a very good team at home, Brentford. They're very hard to break down and score goals against. We've seen them up against so many top teams since they've been here with Thomas Frank, how hard they can be. We've seen them go to the Etihad and win a football match through, yes, 2 counter-attack goals, but from great defensive displays. So I do think it's a bit of a reductionist's answer to turn around and just say, well, Arsenal are the favourites, therefore we should win, so we shouldn't celebrate when we do. It's a tough place to go and win, therefore you should celebrate.
Yes or no? If we're in a title race and we're going for a title, we should be beating Brentford, especially with 6 players out. Their best player being out for nearly 8 months now. Yeah, through bans.
So again, it's not a yes or a no answer.
What's the issue?
Lee, but it isn't a yes or no answer. Liverpool have been one of the best teams in the league since Brentford have been here. Liverpool haven't won away from home at Brentford. They are a very, very good team. So I think that it isn't as simple as yes, you should beat them, no, you shouldn't. It's a hard place to go. It's a hard place to go and get a result, and you've got it.
But when we're as a fan base hyping up every single one of our players as the greatest in the league, right? And when we're playing dead football, and it is dead football, because I'll tell you something now, all these people that are chatting smack and chatting rubbish, if we hadn't have got a goal in that game, it would have been a very different story on this show today, wouldn't it? Because the whole chat would have been, oh, Lee was right, we're not playing great football, this, that, and the other. But because we nicked the goal right at the end, totally different story. And that brushes everything under the carpet. Yeah. Just because we won the game, just be happy. Let's just forget everything in that game.
So that's where I agree with you. So on that particular subject, I agree with you. And I think you look at the form of your attacking players predominantly. I think defensively, you're fine for the large part. I think midfield-wise, you've been pretty good this year. It's been
shocking. Defensively, yeah, but midfield.
So I don't think you have been because you're not being penetrated so much. You're the least progressed upon team in the Premier League, and that not only is backed up by stats, you can.
Creative. And we're 13th most creative.
No, I understand. So if I finish, so you're not being progressed on. So midfield-wise and control is there, but I agree with you. It's individuals in their roles. So it's the final balls from the Odegaards, the Sakas, the Martinellis in terms of a creative point of view hasn't been there. And your team hasn't been as clinical or as good in front of goal as I would have expected. But I believe that's because individual players are not in good form right now. And I believe that will click into gear for you later on in the season. But I think the structure of your team is very, very good indeed. But at the same time, where I agree with you, Lee, is that element does still need to be criticized. So I disagree with, I just think both things exist at the same time. I think you can celebrate that win. I think you can say well done to Kai Havertz. I think you can say well done to the team for going top. At the same time, you could also say, this is where we need to improve. I'm not happy with this element here. The problem that I see...
Any of that. Even if I did that, it's still an issue. This person in the chat saying,
I understand that.
City last year.
I understand that. But this is where I'm not taking sides. Where I agree with part of what you're saying, and I agree with part of what they're saying. I am shocked I am genuinely shocked. The way people treat you is that you can't. Being told you can't criticize anything is ridiculous and crazy. Equally, not acting like you can't celebrate anything is equally for me is extreme. And I think there's a happy medium in this, which is where I think most Arsenal fans sit. I think most Arsenal fans sit in the middle. I really do. I really do think that, mate.
I'll celebrate when I want to celebrate. Nobody's going to tell me when I can and can't celebrate.
And I agree with you. And I agree with you. No one can tell you what to do. I agree with that.
This club has not won a trophy for nearly 4 years. It's not won a league for 20. It's not won in Europe for 30. It's not won a League Cup for 31. If they had the same amount of energy for this football club doing that than they do me, maybe we wouldn't have gone that long. Yeah, maybe, just maybe. Instead of hyping up Eddie Nketiah so he gets a new contract and then deciding 2 years later, actually, he ain't the guy. Well, I told you this time ago. Yeah, but you all hyped him up off of 5 goals, giving it all of that at Stamford Bridge to an empty stadium. Yeah, leaning on their corner flag, giving it call me. Call you for what, mate? You scored 37 goals in 7 years. Erling Haaland scored more last season. It's almost like buying a better striker gets a better output. Like, come on, buying a better midfielder will get you a better output. Now they're all hyping up Douglas Luiz. The same Douglas Luiz none of this fan base wanted in January last year. The same Douglas Luiz, by the way, that in January last year, yeah, when we were linked to Douglas Luiz, Ivan Toney's and other players like, oh, but it's hard to buy players in January. Who's going to want to sell their best players in January? Now they've all convinced themselves we're getting them all. Well, what's the difference this January then? Because Douglas Luiz is still one of their best players. Ivan Toney is still Brentford's best player.
You're linked to Douglas.
And the thing for me, Terry, yeah, right? Like I said, 27 days ago, Tottenham were top of the league. It means nothing in November. We've seen this last season. Arsenal were top for 240 odd days. 93% champs. This lot have learned nothing. They've learned nothing.